Russell was walking home from work when the blood supply to the base of his brain slammed shut. A sudden stroke left him bedridden for months, forcing him to completely relearn how to walk and talk. He developed back pains so severe he couldn't sit up. Sleep apnea forced him into an oxygen mask at night. He lost his job, his partner, and his ability to play with his son. His doctors did what modern medicine does best. They prescribed pills, dozens of them. Yet Russell fell into a deep depression, and his physical decline only accelerated. Treating isolated physical symptoms often fails to restore a patient's baseline motivation or their sense of meaning. Without those, a patient can remain trapped in a cycle of decline that standard care isn't designed to break. So his doctor wrote a highly unconventional prescription. He didn't order another scam or a higher dosage of sedatives. He prescribed an 8-week art class. It sounds like a joke. We are conditioned to view art as a pleasant hobby for the weekends, or simple entertainment to pass the time. But modern scientific data tells a different story. Over 30,000 empirical studies now track the measurable biological health outcomes of engaging with the arts. Treating an art class as a clinical intervention challenges our strict definitions of what constitutes medicine and what we might be missing when we rely entirely on pharmaceuticals. When Russell showed up for his first class, he didn't pick up a brush. He simply sat in the room, watching the other people and the paints. Yet on the walk home, his breathing was slower and deeper. Simply being exposed to the calming atmosphere and the colors had caused an immediate physical shift. This is the physiology lever. Sensory input from an aesthetic experience shifts your attention, which actively dampens your body's autonomic arousal, the system controlling your unconscious stress reactions. This shift lowers cortisol and pulls the nervous system out of a chronic fight-or-flight state. As cortisol drops, the body enters a restorative baseline. Breaking this toxic loop is art's foundational medical function, creating the quiet biological environment required for cellular healing. By the third week, Russell's insomnia drove him into his garden shed in the middle of the night. There, he finally picked up a pen and started doodling caricatures of the people in his therapy group. This activated the psychology lever. The act of creating something engages the brain's reward circuitry, providing a dopamine response that begins to restore a patient's internal motivation. This motivation fuels neuroplasticity. Making art forces the brain to build new pathways around stroke damage. Soon, Russell's pain, blood pressure, and medication needs dropped. Russell's case demonstrates that active art creation operates as a complex stimulus, one that repairs neurological connections while reducing the physical symptoms that pharmaceuticals alone couldn't reach. Russell eventually painted full portraits of his entire therapy group, launching a public exhibition titled "We're All Mad Here." Over the next decade, Russell became a working artist. His pieces have been exhibited in major historical institutions, from the Tower of London to Gloucester Cathedral. He no longer takes any pills. In fact, he hasn't needed to visit his doctor in over a year. His total recovery required reconstructing a personal identity, a narrative shift that chemical treatments are not designed to provide. This extends far beyond one patient. If we zoom out, we see that humans are an innately artistic species, both consumers and producers of meaning. We can trace this biological trait back 40,000 years. This cave painting is evidence of a prehistoric drive for visual communication that has been part of our evolution from the beginning. This aesthetic drive accompanied us globally. Every culture has used music, dance, and art to navigate experience, as shown by this ancient carved bone flute. When we talk about public health, we focus on the 4 pillars: diet, sleep, exercise, and nature. But Russell's story suggests this list is incomplete. The evidence points toward a single conclusion: art is a forgotten 5th pillar of health. Alongside diet and exercise, it is a biological behavior that has helped our species survive and function for 40 millennia.